Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well, having a fantastic day. G-Man here, back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about a project I picked up. Like I said in my first video, I had talked about the comparison between the Series X and the PlayStation 5. But I do have other projects I get into. I do cornhole boards, a bunch of things, fish tanks. I like to tinker with a few different things. But we recently picked up a project, super cheap. I got it off a nephew of mine, and yeah, let's show you what this thing is that we're talking about here. You can see the beast, Honda Rancher 420, picked up. You can see that, not a bad looking machine. Now, when I was talking to my nephew about this, I hadn't seen it yet. And he was just saying, like, Uncle, it is what it is. It's a four-wheeler. It's been flipped. It's been rolled. It's been smacked into trees, So I thought I was going to pick up like a hunk of junk. Plastic's all broken, things just falling apart. But no, this is what we got. Actually, a really decent machine. Okay? Now, when he was telling me about it, he told me, it does run. You got to jump it. It will run. It smokes a bit. Smoking a bit, that's probably just your piston and rings, are going. But I got it home that day. I picked it up a couple of days after I talked to him. But I got it home that day. And then usually I don't do this. Usually I make sure I change everything, fluids, everything like that. But that night, the little kid in me came out, so I made sure it had fluids. It did, so I jumped it. Took me, a couple 5-second presses of the starter button, and she did fire up, I was surprised because she's been beat on and she's been sitting in a garage for almost 2 years. But she did fire up and she did smoke, clears up after the motor warms up. It doesn't really smoke anymore, but she does smoke when she's warming up. And yeah, I pretty much boiled that to the piston and rings. And I don't think it's a necessity within the next, month or so, but they are going to need to be done. But after the initial ride, I'll tell you what I did do. I did end up changing the oil. The oil was black. Black. It was black to the point where it was borderline forming sludge, like on inside on the dipstick or whatever. But clean that, changed the oil filter. The oil filter was equally black. Changed that though. I did go through the back here, and if you can see on the back, looking at this thing here, is your differential case, and that also needs oil. It needs a high-poid gear oil is what it needs. And when I did it, it's supposed to have like 2.5 ounces of gear oil, okay? Well, when I pulled the plug on the drain, it had like an ounce of gear oil and about 2.5 cups of water. Brown, nasty. I changed the gear oil. Now, I bought a expensive Lucas gear oil, and I damn near used the whole bottle, and it was still just coming out brown nasty. I stuck my fingers inside, rubbed it against the gears, just brown nasty. It won't come off. So what I did to fix that, I went and I bought a gallon of diesel fuel, and I put the diesel fuel in it. I didn't ride it. I wouldn't suggest riding it like that. I just got the wheels off the ground, and I would turn the wheels by hand for a couple minutes, drain, repeat the process until the gasoline was coming out looking like diesel fuel. Eventually it did. So I put the gear fluid in it. At that point, I'm going to ride it around a little bit, and then probably a couple weeks or so, I'm going to act like I'm taking it for a service, and I'm going to rechange all the fluids. All the fluids. That would be the coolant, the gear fluid for the differential in the back. It's not a four-wheel drive, so it only has the one differential in the back. the oil, the gear fluid for the differential, the gear transmission fluid I'm going to change. I'm going to change the coolant fluid because I did notice a couple of the breather lines. Obviously, it's supposed to be a breather line. So what do I do to check them? I just grab them, blow into one. And if there's no air going through it, then obviously it's clogged somewhere in the line. So one of the lines, I believe, to the coolant is clogged. I couldn't breathe through it. And when I was in there the other day, there was a wire that was all frayed and chewed away and everything, which I think caused me to blow a fuse on it a couple days ago. I fixed that wire, it's all fixed. But I think we're going to ride it out for a little bit, and then eventually what I'm going to do is restore the whole thing. Restore it as close to brand new as I can. So if that's something you think you'd like to watch, something you think you'd like to follow me along with, see what this thing comes turning out looking like, please join me on the ride. But like I said, not bad. Looks pretty good. So, well, that'll be it for today. That was it. Love you for listening to me, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya!